Recently got married, M41, F40. Wife lost food stamps and cheap insurance and expects me to cover her loss. How to solve it so it's fair. We've known each other for a year and decided to get married. I, 41M, and my wife is 40F. We've lived together since February and share all household expenses 50-50. I pay her $650 rent, plus half of all household expenses. I usually cover the bill if we're eating out or if I want to buy something for the house. I have one child, 13F, from a previous relationship, full time. She has two kids, 9M and 10F, full time. Wife is making $30,000 per year, plus child support, which is $800 per month, and she's renting out one of her bedrooms for $1,000 per month. Things got complicated when she lost her benefits because of the change of status. Because of our change of status, I'm assuming he meant, and our combined income. She's blaming me for it and expects me to cover her loss and pay for her insurance. I don't have any health insurance myself because of the high premiums, and I was trying to explain that to her. If anything, we should stop for insurance for the whole family if it's important to her. If it's important. If it's important to have insurance. We should be jointly responsible for the cost, not just focus on her own insurance, and that it's not my fault. It's just a consequence of the choice we made, and we need to discuss the solutions. She didn't like this answer and started saying things like, "What kind of man are you?" etc. My question is, what should a man do in this situation? Oh no. How can we balance the finances so that both parties don't feel used but feel safe and supported? My instinct tells me to play it safe.
Well, this is a perfect example of you clearly haven't talked about the financial impact of getting married.
And you've only been together for a year, which is... I'm not saying it's too short of an amount of time to get married or anything, but it is very soon to merge two families together.
Yeah, she's got previous kids, you've got a previous kid. You're both, obviously...
And these aren't older children. They're children that you're going to need to take care of for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so you've moved in quickly, you're now suddenly surprised about financial impact. I mean, it just shows that you just are fundamentally not aligned. You should not have got married if you're not aligned. This should not be a surprise. The other comments about, like, are you a man or whatever, that just shouts red flags to me. But it seems the way you're saying that she's very wanting, fundamentally to have you covering the costs, and she cares about her health insurance. Fundamentally, you're not aligned on finances at all. You really need to do that. How do you actually do it that it's fair? I mean, she'll still be getting child support, I presume.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused on that because he basically said that she's lost her benefits because of the change of status and her combined income. So I'm assuming that what she's lost is actually not, as you said, not the child support, but any government support that she had before because of their merged income.
Yeah, that's what I would presume. What's interesting is he doesn't seem to have any child support. Now, there could be a whole host of reasons why, but that seems a little strange. Overall, it doesn't seem very good. If you actually wanted to do it fair, how would I go about doing it? I think fundamentally you need to look at the costs of your own expenditure. You continue doing it 50-50 depending on salaries. You work it out. Maybe do a percentage weighting. If someone earns a certain amount, they pay a bit more. You also need to weight it based on kids as well, because she really shouldn't be paying for your kid if she's getting child support for the other kids. But I think that just shows that this is
fundamentally not her money.
Yeah, so fundamentally I think you really need to... You've clearly jumped into this far too fast, and you have not aligned on your finances at all. This is not a simple situation. There's lots of variables with you're not getting child support, but you've got one kid, she's got two kids, but is getting child support. She's on a certain income, you're on an alternative income, you're looking to move in together. You probably have a bunch of different savings pots, retirement pots, you maybe even have debt, you have car loans. Like, we have probably just scratched the very surface in this post of how much finances they've got, so they are completely not aligned.
Yeah. a couple of things. So they mentioned themselves in the comments that they did talk about this before they got married, but she didn't fully understand the consequences and possible difficulties of merging their incomes together. And another relevant comment is that his work offers health insurance at a lower rate, but only for himself. So if it would cost him $240 per month, my work buddy covers for himself, wife, and one child, and he's paying $1,500 per month. We definitely need to do research of all the options and make sure that fit our budget and cover all needs.
And just to be clear, what type of cover is this? Sorry, life insurance.
This is just health insurance.
Oh, health insurance. Because I
Yeah.
thought previously it was talking about life insurance.
No, this is all for health insurance. So she's lost her health insurance so she was probably getting some government health insurance, maybe like Obamacare or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works. I mean, I think you said it. You talked about this before marriage, but she clearly didn't understand it, so you clearly didn't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this is not two single people that are on similar incomes, similar debt levels, etc., merging. This is a very complex situation with a lot of history based on your ages. You did not talk about this at all?
Another relevant part is that her mortgage is $1,300 per month. So 1,000 of it is covered by her renter. So she's got $300 in mortgage per month, in essence.
Well, I think that's great. The fact that there's the renting that out. It is a little strange that how many people are going to be living in this house then? If it's going to be her new husband, his kid, her two kids, and then this other renter. This is going to be a big house. For me, I mean, obviously there's a financial conversation that needs to happen, but I would be suggesting, do you really need that renter there? Is that income stream so important? Because you have got a busy household with 3 kids, as is. Yeah, I think it's good that you're not paying much mortgage, but it does seem a weird situation that there's another renter in this case as well.
Yeah, what bothers me with this post is that you have not stated how much you make. There is a separate post that he made asking if they should file taxes separately so that she still gets benefits, which, look, I don't know anything about the law in the US, but in your case, I think that whether you file separately or not, it wouldn't change your marital status and your combined household income. So I don't see the point in it, but basically he says that he earns $75,000 per year.
Yeah, I mean, they're not on money bags, and that's obvious. Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're doing it fair, you just need to come across on really understand the kids, kind of treat the kids separately. Weirdly, usually you would kind of treat them very much the same, but treat them separately from yourself and her, and you kind of need to be having pot from your kid, pot for her kids, and then pot for both of you. But financially, you two are now one entity, but I do not think they have considered that. I think they still consider themselves separately in this regard, but then you shouldn't have got married if you considered it that way.
I agree, and also, like, you're in the position where what she's lost financially, she's not saying, like, I mean, she's saying you should, be compensating me for it, but I think, like, part of it is, like, she had this expectation in her head that when you two merged yourselves together, that she would then be taken care of, if that makes sense. Like, you're a team, and I'm not saying it's a very fair expectation that you should be bankrolling her, but at the same time, you are a team now, and now that you're in that situation, you have to have an incredibly honest talk.
Yeah,
and a calm one. You cannot be raising your voices at each other.
Yeah, it's one of these ones that, from her making $1,000 per month on a renter now becomes we are making $1,000 per month per renter. When it comes to her saying she's now lost X benefit and Y benefit, it is now we have lost X and Y benefit. And that means if we continue to want X and Y benefit, we need to pay for it. And that does not mean it's a 50-50. That does not mean it's necessarily hard that pays it all. Depending on the financial situations of both of you, etc., then that needs to be decided. But the whole, this is what I mean, the whole attitude is wrong. It is me, you, her, him. It needs to be us, us.
Yeah.
But in this case, the kids should be kept separately because they are separate. But it's very, very difficult. I would get, I don't know, a financial advisor to help you out on that one.
Yeah.
And it's same with about taxes as well. I wouldn't comment on that, but yeah.
I think that's a good suggestion. But also change up your mentality, because when you say stuff like, I pay her $650 in rent, you're married.
Yeah.
Like,
that
change
the
up
whole
your attitude.
mentality is wrong. The whole this I'm paying you, you're paying me is just completely bizarre. You now I understand it can take a while to get out of that, but it needs to be very much we need to make this work. And I think, to give some advice and maybe how he would go about doing that, then maybe that's what you should do. He needs to be sitting his wife down and say, right, we need to fix this. We have a problem here. We have this. But the impression I get is she considers her loss of financial around insurance, etc., as a negative that he needs to compensate, but she is not considering him taking half of her rent as his income, essentially. But the whole mentality is wrong, in my opinion.
Agreed.